Imagine waking up on a random Tuesday in December, checking your phone, and seeing that the whole financial world has changed while you slept. Now picture yourself having a coffee in peace because you quietly saved 1,000 XRP months ago before the whistle went off. First things first, pay attention. It may come as a surprise, but I'm not a financial expert, and nothing in this video is meant to be taken as such. There is a big chance that you could lose all the money you spend in cryptocurrencies. You should always do your own study and talk to a professional. You are fully responsible for your investments, and you should know that when you invest, nothing is ever a sure thing. You won't lose anything because of me, this station, or YouTube, and this movie right here. The only reasons for it are for fun and learning. That's it. The legalese is now over with. Let us go back to last month when my friend Marco called me at 2 a.m., almost passing out. Bro, Edgarino Farina says that you have to hold 1,000 XRP before December 2025. Half asleep, I said something about my clock being the only thing in my life that I couldn't change and hung up. Still, I couldn't get rid of it. So why was the exact number 1,000 coins making so much noise? So I dove right in over the next few days. I had a flashlight stuck between my teeth like Indiana Jones. What's the main point of this? At the price it is now, which is about $2,300, $1,000 XRP can get you on what Farina thinks could be the fast track to a fully rewired European financial system. So far, October 2025 seems like the most likely date. That's when the European Central Bank wants to start using the digital euro. Now comes the crazy part. Farina is sure that the pipes that support the digital euro will finally link to the XRP ledger through Europe's TIPS instant settlement rails. TIPS, which stands for Target Instant Payment Settlement, is for people who are new to this rabbit hole. This is a fancy word for sending money across countries without having to wait 3 business days and kill a goat. Farina now says that TIPS can already talk to the XRP system, in the same way that your smart fridge calls the store when you run out of eggs. And if that's true, XRP could be in the middle of every real-time currency. Are you not sure? The same. So I started putting things together like a detective on a crime show who is too drunk to write on a corkboard. The head of the ECB, Christine Lagarde, hasn't been shy about her love for blockchain. She talked about Ripple and Circle when she was in charge of the IMF. She liked how these platforms could politely sock traditional banks in the behind. Palau, a tiny island country, made its own digital currency on top of the XRP ledger at the same time. You could say it was like a small dress practice. They do use the euro, which makes them a bit of a test subject for the Eurozone. Then there's Daniel Broby, a test professor at the French Central Bank, who wrote Bayer about the XRP ledger. Surprisingly, they ran digital payment simulations on it and walked away grinning like they had found baguettes that never go bad. I know it's a bad joke. Governments, banks, and big tech companies all have to follow the non-disclosure deal while they work. Not as thin as my aunt's lasagna. That joke keeps coming up. That's why confirmation could land overnight, without notice. It's kind of like that time Beyonce released a record and everyone lost interest, or at least I lost interest in it. When the curtain goes up, if you don't have any XRP on hand, you might be the poor person still waiting in line for tickets, even though the show is sold out. Then, let's talk about the numbers, since spreadsheets always tell the truth. They only mess up imagination a little, right? It looks like XRP is worth about $220 at the time of the video. That's why 1,000 coins is about the same as a long weekend trip. This time, though, instead of pancakes from room service, you get a shiny bag that you might find useful in the future. Now, Farina thinks that small buyers have about 5 months to build up their money before everything changes. And if you're thinking 23 grand or $2,300, I should say, isn't small change. Remember that most of us spend so much on subscription services that we forget to stop them. Okay, streaming service number 7 that only shows old sitcoms from the mid-2000s, I see you. Even so, we shouldn't make it sound too sweet, right? We all have the same problem, FOMO fatigue, right? It seems like every title screams last chance until the next last chance comes along. Now in crypto, hype waves rise and fall faster than TikTok dance trends. Then how do we tell the difference between real messages and noise like foghorns? And for me, it's all about how useful it is, right? Bitcoin keeps money safe, but that's a topic for another day. Ethereum makes programmed money, but not as quickly as Blockbuster, Nokia, BlackBerry, and Yahoo. XRP is best for moving large amounts of cash across borders more quickly, and maybe even for less money. You could always prepare popcorn after that. Now, if that same digital euro project picks that same highway, the demand for XRP tokens or toll tokens could actually go through the roof. Yes, but usefulness isn't the only thing that matters here, right? Adoption needs permission from the government as well. And that's kind of where Europe comes in, right? Dropped on May 22nd. It's a stable coin backed by euros that was made under MiCA rules and is based directly on the XRP system. If we compare it to a family gathering, it would be like the ECB's younger cousin wearing the same outfit. Analysts, ex-finance bulls kind of brushed off doubters by calling it just another DeFi toy. They said it was real money that was legal and could be used anywhere in the world. Now, he makes a more significant claim. If the price of XRP ever reached $1,000, that would only be the beginning. Let's take a moment to breathe, though, because 1,000 XRP worth $1,000 each come to $1 million. That's not monopoly money, though. It's real money, or if you will, Benjamins that have been raised. That's the dream situation that's being talked about a bit on Twitter and Telegram right now. But now the question is, will it happen? The truth is that no one knows. Also, if someone says they know, please pass the mic to them so we can all hear the day's winning numbers. And this is more interesting from a behavioral point of view, right? The way humans think about time means they don't take into account exponential changes. That's a lot of words, right? We mean that we see straight lines, not hockey sticks. So remember when smartphones were cool tech for nerds? Well, now babies know how to use Face ID before they can type a full sentence or even tie their shoes. Payment systems often jump frog instead of walk when they change direction. Anyways, getting 1,000 XRP might not seem important right now, but it might feel epic in the future. It's still just a thought, though. Okay, let me tell you a story from my own life. In 2013, I laughed when a friend mined 20 Bitcoins on his old dusty laptop. I joke, those are nice virtual arcade coins. And I think he kept them, right? And I laughed out loud. I didn't, right? I kind of used mine, and as a joke, I bought an Xbox gift card for a ridiculously high amount of Bitcoin. Anyway, fast forward a bit, and his arcade coins paid for a beach house. At the same time, I'm still renting this apartment in Dubai where the shower makes a lot of noise. We've learned our lesson now, right? It's only a matter of time when something is ridiculous and when it's new. Okay? An important word before we go any further. Check out the free educational chat if you want a place to hang out and talk about crypto winters, break down charts, or just make memes about them. In the text below, there is a link. It's like a coffee shop in the digital world, but everyone gets your crypto jokes. You can stop by, look around, or ask a question. There are no strings attached at all. It may be hard to find a place to buy XRP these days without getting hit with spreads that are bigger than an elephant at a fair. And for myself, I use Blowfin. Just so you know, the Blowfin link in the caption is an affiliate link that helps the channel. You kind of throw a few cents my way when you use that word throw. It doesn't cost you anything extra to sign up and trade on the platform, but it keeps the lights on and the coffee running while I look into these rabbit holes for our sake. Now let's get back to the story, because Farina's motto of no matter what makes some people mad. It sounds a little like a cult, doesn't it? But when I listened to his original comments, it wasn't like, I guess, bragging or something. You know, it was important, right? He has been in the mines and seen the institutional gears turn. He can hear the last click before the ignition. Now, the kind of comparison I keep coming back to is Apple's iPhone keynote in 2007, right? Carriers were not told, like, hey, you have 18 months to get ready, as Apple pretty much walked onto the stage and said, this is the future. And the big telecom companies had to work hard until they got it. Now we might see a similar mic drop moment with Europe's digital euro and by extension the rail that drives it. If the ECB, IMF, and national banks work together to make an official release, small investors may be chasing green candles like teens running to the stage at a festival. In the past, when big money turns positive, it's almost impossible for small investors to get money. Now it's time to stat. Last year, 46 billion non-cash payments worth more than 200 trillion euros were made in the euro area. Even a small amount of that could run through on-chain rails with XRP acting as a bridge. Daily volumes could be much higher than the current market cap numbers. And because there are only 100 billion XRP tokens available, and half of them are locked up in escrow, scarcity starts to show its pretty nice side. There will, of course, be speed bumps now, right? The case with the SEC in the US is still out there. Even though Ripple has won some battles, regulatory clarity is still a slow cooker. It's not an air fryer. Yes, in this case, the Europeans' MiCA framework is the neighbor already grilling burgers while Uncle Sam fights about charcoal versus propane. It's possible for political pressure to change quickly in other places if Europe kind of charges ahead and shows that on-chain justice works at scale. Do you remember that I said that ex-finance bulls see XRP as a superpower? It's not a way to store things like gold bars. Moving is what it is. It's the speed, the compliance, and the drink, right? Those three things together make it sound like the oil that keeps international trade and shipping running smoothly. This is because it's like a container ship gliding through the Suez Canal, but digitally and without the occasional tanker getting stuck. Let's talk about psychology once more, okay? Many people get cold feet because they can't see XRP ever going above $10, let alone over $1,000. They say market cap is impossible because there are too many tokens. Yes. We often forget that the market cap math changes when the speed of tokens and their institutional usefulness rises. If banks treat XRP more like a useful financial unit than a risky asset, daily volume might look more like it's on a foreign exchange market than a crypto exchange. It's also important to keep in mind that market cap is just a big picture measure of price. It doesn't show how liquid the money is. It doesn't show you money coming in. Just macro pricing, which is the price times the quantity, doesn't tell you anything useful. It's just very high prices. And now for my best mental model. Remember when email took the place of fax machines? It's not possible for email prices to be based on the number of texts sent, right? They only looked at how useful it was. In the same way, price models might surprise us if XRP turns out to be the duct tape that holds instant settlement together. This all comes back to Farina's main point, which is that planning is better than reaction. It might feel boring to put together a small bag right now, but waiting for the news to kind of wake you up could cost a lot more, or even keep you from getting anything at all if the stores run out of stock. Another thing to talk about is the risk. Yes, XRP could disappear or stay the same for years. The ECB may decide to deal with the problem itself. There might be a new blockchain that jumps ahead. That's why position size is so important. 1,000 XRP is the only amount that will do for him. Not a debt or a court order to buy a house. It's not too big to change course if the theory fails, but it's also not too small to handle a loss. It's kind of like getting a pass to go behind the scenes at a concert. In the worst case, the band plays moody music, and you still had a good time. It would be great if you could split with the guitarist on stage. Okay, so second quick pit stop and then second shout out for Blowfin, right? Their prices are surprisingly low, and the interface is so simple that even my geeky uncle can figure it out. You can use the ad link if you want to. There's not any stress. Thank you for your support. It at least keeps me stocked with chart plotting software and, let's be honest, too much cold brew. So I guess to wrap this up, where does that leave us? There are 5 months left until the ECB's October start window. You have pilots, France's test, and Europe's SafeCoin on-chain debut. Plus, a lot of people, from academic researchers to former IMF chiefs, have said that XRP's rails are worth taking a closer look at. A group of people coming together around this kind of symbolic 1,000-coin milestone. So here's my own plan for the game. I set a note to dollar cost average every 2 weeks until September. There is no big lump sum here, just slow build-up. I keep an eye on government news, but I don't base my mood on it. The free conflict for education is where I hang out to keep my feet on the ground. One more time, the link to that is below, and it's free. I keep looking at useful measures such as chain volumes and new partnerships because all the hype in the world will be fake if it doesn't have any use. Being close to fall makes me think of the old proverb, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. Now is the second best time. XRP could be the big oak tree that shapes the future of finance. Or it could just be another type of plant in a forest full of them. Or you could just put 1,000 seeds today as a kind of bet. It seems like a better idea than waiting until tomorrow for someone else's shade. Taking everything into account, October could be a nothing burger or the moon landing of the crypto world, right? When it comes to Farina's, it might age like great wine, fold like a lawn chair, or age like milk. But there is obvious power in the way that instant payments, CBDCs, and interoperable ledgers can all be used together. Okay? And XRP is right in the middle of the question. Remember why we're here, right? That's my last thought as we walk off into the glowing sunset of possibility. To follow up on every story is not the point. That's why we need to be ready for paradigm changes, or at least be ready for when they do happen. If 1,000 XRP fits your risk tolerance, that's great. If not, then information is free. And you got that just by hanging out with me today, right? In either case, you can join the chat, say hello, and keep working on your money skills. Also, great job if you do get your bag on Blowfin. I'm sure that affiliate link helps this station stay alive and well. If that exchange doesn't work for you, you can try other platforms as well.